Have you ever felt like your biggest battle isn't with the world, but with your own thoughts? Why is it that silence, something we say we want, can suddenly feel so heavy? Why does sitting still sometimes feel like drowning? Why do our own thoughts scare us more than anything outside? We live in a noisy world. There's always something playing, buzzing, flashing, and maybe that's not by accident. Maybe we keep the noise going because deep down, we're afraid of what the quiet might say. What if silence isn't just empty, but full of truth? In this episode of Mind in the Mirror, we're going to ask some tough questions. Why do we fear being alone with our minds? What are our thoughts really trying to tell us? And how do we find peace in the stillness instead of fear? If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your own mind, this one's for you. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Mind in the Mirror, where we explore the thoughts we try to hide from and why facing them just might set us free. Why do we fear our own minds? A long time ago, deep thinkers like Kierkegaard and Pascal talked about something many of us still feel today: the strange and sometimes scary feeling of being alone with our own thoughts. They said it can be like standing in a hall full of mirrors. You look around, and you see so many versions of yourself. Some of them feel unfamiliar. Some you might not even like. Sometimes, a thought shows up that feels weird or even wrong. It might make you worry. Why did I think that? But here's something important. Just because a thought pops into your head doesn't mean it's bad, and it definitely doesn't mean it's true. Our minds are always busy, always talking, and not every message makes sense. But every thought is trying to tell you something. It might be a fear, a memory, or just your brain making noise. What matters is how you respond. You don't have to believe every thought. You can listen, learn, and let go. It's okay to face yourself. It's how we grow. You are not your thoughts. You are the one listening. And that means you have the power to choose which voice to follow. Overthinking versus deep thinking. Let's clear something up. Thinking deeply is not the same as getting stuck in your head. Overthinking is like going in circles. You think and think, but you don't get anywhere. You feel tired, confused, and stuck. It's like being trapped in your own mind. But deep thinking is something else. It's when you take a breath, sit quietly, and ask real questions. You're not trying to control your thoughts, you're trying to understand them. Deep thinking helps you grow. It's not loud or fast. It's slow, calm, and honest. But here's the hard part. Sometimes a thought shows you something you don't want to see. Not because it's bad, but because it's real. This is what we call the quiet war inside. You versus you. It's the fight between wanting to know the truth and wanting to hide from it. The fight between the person you think you are and the person you really are deep down. It's not an easy battle, but facing it is how you become stronger. You grow when you stop running from yourself. The power of stillness. We often think of silence as something to avoid. It can feel uncomfortable or even scary. In a world full of noise, silence feels strange. But what if silence isn't something to escape? What if it's the place where real answers live? Stillness doesn't mean running away or doing nothing. It means facing what's really going on inside of you. When we sit quietly, we create space. In that space, our thoughts start to rise and fall, like waves in the ocean. We begin to notice patterns. We start to hear feelings and thoughts we've been ignoring or pushing away. That's why simple things like meditation, writing in a journal, or walking in nature feel so powerful. They give us a moment to pause. They help us slow down. Most importantly, they help us listen. Not to the world outside, but to what our mind and heart are trying to say. You don't need fancy tools or perfect quiet. Just a few minutes of stillness can make a big difference. You might be surprised at what comes up. Sometimes, the answers you're looking for aren't out there. They've been inside you all along, waiting for you to stop and listen. The messages behind the thoughts. Sometimes, our thoughts can feel scary or overwhelming, especially when we don't understand where they're coming from. But what if those thoughts aren't trying to hurt us? What if they're not the enemy, but signals? A thought like, "I'm not good enough," might not be the truth. It might just mean, "I'm afraid of failing." A thought like, "What if I mess up?" might really mean, "This is important to me, and I want to do well." When we slow down and look beneath the surface, we start to see that thoughts are often just clues. They're trying to show us what we're feeling deep down, not to scare us, but to help us understand ourselves better. You don't have to believe every thought that pops into your head. Not every thought is true, but every thought is there for a reason. The key is not to fight them or run away. The key is to listen with kindness and curiosity. When you listen, you learn. You become more aware, and slowly the scary thoughts lose their power. They stop feeling like threats and start becoming messages. Messages that help you grow. Facing the inner mirror. Looking into your own mind can feel a lot like looking into a mirror after a storm. At first, the image is shaky, blurred, and hard to understand. You might feel confused or even scared by what you see. But if you give it time and stay patient, the storm starts to calm. The image becomes clearer. And slowly you begin to see yourself more honestly. Not as perfect, not as broken, just real. The more you face your thoughts, the less scary they seem. You begin to understand that they are just parts of you asking to be heard. Some might come from fear, others from pain or old memories, but they're all trying to tell you something. The real challenge isn't about changing your thoughts or making them go away. The real work is learning to sit with them, to look at them without fear, because often the thoughts we try hardest to avoid are the ones holding the truths we need the most. And once you face them, something powerful happens. You begin to grow. You build strength, self-trust, and peace. Not by running away from your mind, but by learning to understand it. Meditation and reflection, your quiet tools. There are simple ways to sit with your thoughts without feeling overwhelmed. You don't have to do much, just start small. Try this. Take 5 deep breaths, slowly, in and out. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Don't try to fix it, don't judge it, just notice what comes up. That's it. It may sound too easy, but it can help more than you think. Sometimes, just giving yourself 5 quiet minutes can make a big difference. You start to feel more at home in your own mind. The thoughts don't seem as loud or scary. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to solve everything at once. Just be willing to pause, breathe, and listen. That's how you start building peace, one quiet moment at a time. Understanding the inner conflict. We often feel like we have to choose between 2 sides of ourselves, the strong, confident side or the worried, anxious one. But the truth is, both are part of you. The part of you that feels nervous is also the part that cares deeply. The part that has doubts is just trying to keep you safe. There's nothing wrong with feeling both brave and unsure. That's what being human looks like. When you stop fighting your thoughts and start listening to them with kindness, something changes. You begin to understand yourself better. And slowly, you stop being afraid of your own mind. You realize you don't have to pick a side. You just have to accept all of you. From fear to friendship, you were never meant to fight your mind like it's the enemy. Your mind was always meant to be your partner, a mirror to reflect, a guide to help. When you stop pushing your thoughts away and start listening to them, you begin to trust yourself more. And with trust comes peace. This is what real change looks like. From fear to friendship. From always running to finally resting. You don't have to win a battle. You just have to make space for yourself. You don't have to win the war. Here's the truth. The war inside your mind isn't something you have to win. It's something you learn to watch. The goal isn't to stop every thought or make your mind quiet all the time. It's to stop being afraid of what shows up. When you accept your thoughts instead of fighting them, they slowly lose their power over you. Peace doesn't come from trying to control your mind. Real peace comes from understanding it. The silence becomes you. With time, silence stops feeling scary. It starts to feel like home. You don't panic when you're alone with your thoughts. You welcome them. You don't run from quiet moments, you rest in them. Because you've made peace with your mind. You've come to see that your mind was never trying to hurt you. It was just trying to speak. And now, you're ready to listen. Closing words. Your mind was never your enemy. It was always your mirror. Sure, it gets messy sometimes. It can feel cracked, confusing, even painful. But it's always trying to show you something real, something true. So the next time you feel scared of your own thoughts, ask yourself, what are they trying to tell me? What if I stopped running and just listened? You don't have to fight the silence. You just have to sit with it. Because maybe that quiet space is where you finally meet yourself. Thank you for being here with us. If this touched something inside you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mind in the Mirror, where we explore what it really means to face yourself. We'll see you in the next episode.